That's how it happens.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Twist Gaming. We are here live at Gen Con 2018, and I have a very familiar face with me. Rachel is here from Ultra Pro to talk to us about a game that the guys have seen before, but I have not yet had the opportunity to see in person.
Right.
So what did you bring for me today?
So I brought our new deck builder by Justin Gary, Shards of Infinity. And the story behind Shards of Infinity is that the Infinity engine has exploded into these parts, and you are the faction gods that are trying to gain the parts and reunite them because only you know how to control them. And once you've collected all the parts with your army and put them together, you will rule the world.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
So this is a deck builder like Ascension. It also has a starting hand. In this game, your commodity or what you use to buy cards are your crystal shards, which are the pieces that you're trying to put together. And then you get a weapon in this game. And that's what makes this game set apart from other games like these, is that you are actually in this game not just deck building against the board, you're deck building against the player. So you are doing damage. You will also have permanence in other card playing games. And once you play the card, it can have the chance to stay in front of you.
Okay.
So it doesn't automatically just get reshuffled. There are two different types of things that you will gain in this game. And again, those are crystal shards, as well as, we like to call them around the office punchies, but they're not, they are just damage. You will gain damage and you will hit your opponent.
Punchies.
Yeah, so all damage in this game is also universal. So I'm not just attacking in a 4-player game. I let's say, gain 4 damage that turn. I can do 2 to one person, 1 to another, and 1 to another. So you can spread it evenly. The best thing about this game are these character cards. They come one for each faction, and you can see she's showing you that character. In the top right corner, you can see the life that is actually green. It's just not shown on the green screen, but that is your life. And if she turns the dial down, you'll see your life will start in this game at 50. So she'll set that to 50, and that will also be green, so you probably won't be able to see it.
I should have gone the other way.
That's okay. And then, yep, there it is. Perfect. And then at the bottom of the card on the right, there is your energy. And your energy, depending on when you go, will start at either 0, 1, 2, or 3. So if you are the first player to go, you will start at 0. If you are second, first, 1, and then the second player, third. We are going to show you the difference in our cards as well. Besides some other standard deck builders, we have the 4 factions here.
I'm going to switch over there to the board cam.
Let's do that. So there we go. We can move these up. Perfect. The 4 factions are the Hamadius faction, the Wraith, the Undergrowth, and the Order. As I can move these over. Awesome. Thank you so much. So the...
Every time. Go the wrong way.
That's okay. So here are the different kinds of cards, and I'm going to cover a little bit about the new abilities in this game that we didn't have in Ascension as well. So this is what I was speaking of when I said that you had permanence. These are the champions. Each faction has their own set of champions. It's not just the Hamadius faction. And the champions are more of a permanent. So if you are to draft the champion, it goes into your discard. When you do draw it, it would go into your area of play rather than just playing it, discarding it, and it would stay there. It would have a life token, total. So you would have to do 7 damage or play some other special ability to remove this from my play. And once a turn, I can exhaust it, and exhausting is just knowing that you used it. We move it like this. You don't have to do it. You can do it upside down, whatever you would like to say that you've used it. But once a turn, this character would give you something and do something for you. The Wraith faction has the ability of Echo, which is really great because they give you powers, and then if you've played another or discarded another Wraith card this turn, another one of his buddies, he does more.
Okay.
So he gets more and more powerful depending on how much of him is in the deck. The green faction are the Undergrowth. They are kind of the healers. I don't want to say that because there are other cards that heal you, but mainly in the green cards are going to be the healers. And then also they like to work with everyone, so they have a unity ability. And if you have one of all of the factions, they do some bigger effects.
Okay.
And also, this type of card here is a little different than the other cards. You could see there's a red border around it, whereas there's no red border around the other cards. In this deck builder now, we've brought in a new mechanic where I can play this directly out of the card pool deck. The only difference is it doesn't go into my deck at the end of the turn. It goes back into the main pile and gets reshuffled to come out later.
Is that a must or a may?
It's a may.
Okay.
So I have the option to put this into my deck, wait for it to come out to use its power, or I can use its power right away as an emergency, and then it goes back into the bottom of the main stack. Okay. This faction is the Order. They do share a lot of the other qualities, but they tend to guard you. So the way that the shields work in this game is all you have to do is show it from your hand when someone is doing damage to you, and it blocks. So if Anne was trying to do 8 damage to me, I could just show her that I had this card in my hand. I can't pull it out of my deck or my discard, and then I could block that damage. So it's kind of a one turn, but it can really help you because your opponent doesn't know that it's in your hand.
Right, right.
So some of the cards have other effects where if you have a certain number of energy, they do different things, and that's it. So those are the different mechanics. The game starts just by shuffling. So each player will get one weapon, the blaster. All this does is 1 damage. This is kind of like the starting card in Ascension. You might want to get rid of it eventually. It'll be one of the banished cards because it just gives you 1 hit.
Okay.
You'll get 7 crystal shards. You'll get an infinity shard. This will continue to give you more and more damage depending on how big of an energy. Now, I want to discuss something on this card.
Yes.
If you can see where it says 30, it says I gain how many shards?
Infinite amount of because it's the infinity shard.
I gain the infinity shard, which means I get to hit you for infinity damage and distribute it infinity times. So if I get to 30, essentially if I get to 30 energy and I draw that card, I am going to rule the world. And so that's something to watch out for. So it's a little bit of a resource mechanic there for resource management, because you might want to gain infinity, but then you might just keep getting hit with damage while you're trying to gain infinity. So you have to balance that. And then you'll have your shard reactor, which will just give you more crystals to spend on purchasing cards.
Gain 3 instead of 4, or gain 3 instead and gain 4 instead.
Yep, instead of 2.
Okay.
Yep. So that is your starting deck.
Okay.
Everyone will start with the same deck. The deck gets shuffled, and this deck just gets shuffled. All the rest of the cards get shuffled. They don't have to be in any certain... there's nothing that comes out of it. They all get shuffled together. I have pre-shuffled the deck. I just put the starter cards back in there. And then the layout for this game is that 6 cards come out into the pool.
Okay.
They don't come out in a line because right now it's not really a 1 to 4 player game. It is a 2 to 4 player game because you are fighting the other person. So we don't put them in a line. We put them out like that. The same rules apply. As soon as you purchase something, it does refill immediately.
Okay.
And shuffle your deck, and then make sure you're at 50, and then if you would like to go first, you would be at 0 energy, and I'll go second, and I will start at 1.
Okay. All right.
At any time, you can see that your character card has a power on it. It says that you can pay 1 crystal to gain 1 energy. You can do that anytime on your turn, but only once a turn. And all the powers are the same on the characters for now, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay, so I've shuffled up my deck, and then if I'm going to go first, what am I getting
draw
to my
5
hand?
cards.
Okay. 1, 2.
And you're going to play all your cards just like we had talked about in Ascension. You play your whole hand.
Okay.
So you can use the shards and the shard reactor to purchase cards. I have these facing the viewers, but if you have any questions, please feel free.
Oh, this is always analysis paralysis. Okay, so these are mostly my shields. This is my damage, essentially.
A lot of it is damage, and it's a lot of like you want to have more purples, more of them together. They fight together.
Okay. So I think I'm going to get, what am I going to do? I'm going to do the mining drone. So I'm going to have to spend 2 crystals to get the mining drone?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to pull 2 of my crystals out of my hand.
Okay, so it just goes into your discard. And then you gain the mining drones, which also will go into
my discard.
And then I refill immediately.
And now I'm down to... I'm going to... All right, explain to me the Infinity Shard again.
Okay, so the Infinity Shard is your damage.
Yes.
And all damage is resolved at the end of the resource phase. So you would purchase, and then damage would resolve. So you want to spend all your crystals first.
Okay.
And then you get to do damage to me.
So I'm going to spend 1 for the Order Initiate.
Okay.
And that goes to discard.
Yes, it does.
Refill. And then I'm going to spend my other 1 for my Wreath Skirmisher. Okay. And this is going to go to discard, and so are the 2 crystals that I bought.
Yep.
The Order Initiate there is going to come out, and then I'm going to play my Infinity Shard.
Okay. So the Infinity Shard, you gain 2 energy, or you gain 2 hits. And so you get to do 2 damage to me. She doesn't have 10 energy, so she can't bonus it. So I take 2 damage, which I track on my character card. So I would just flip this from 50 to 48.
And then this all goes to discard.
Yep, that goes to your discard, which you can just keep next to your deck.
Do I draw back up my hand
like
before
this.
your hand?
Yes, you draw back up before my hand. That is correct.
If you damage me, whether I can block it.
That's right.
Okay.
So, all right. So I am going to start. My hand, I have 4 crystals and my blaster, so I'm definitely going to be doing a damage to you this turn. I have 4 to spend, so I am going to take the Order Initiate, and that refills, and then I'm going to buy the Lachey Knight, and we'll play that. And so there's my 3, and then I'll spend 1 crystal left over to gain an energy, which puts me at 2.
Okay.
So then that goes into the discard. And that gets refilled.
And then I'm going to take the 1 hit from the blaster, so we're going to go from 50 to 49.
That's right.
Okay. Let's go through one more quick round of the 2 and just see what we can get out here.
Awesome.
I'm going to play the Shard... Abstractor?
Abstractor.
It's a little tough upside down.
No worries.
I am going to play my 3 crystals. Now, this is a card with a red border, so if I wanted to play this immediately instead of putting in my hand, I could choose to do so.
And you would gain 2 energy immediately, and then he would go on the bottom of the deck.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that for the 2 energy immediately.
So it just goes on the bottom of the deck. It'll come out again later, or it won't, but it has a chance to, and then we just refill.
Okay. I'm going to play my blast. Well, the blaster will be at the 1, and then I also have a shard reactor, but I only have 2 energy, so there's
you'll
no
gain
boons.
2 crystals.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I don't think there's anything you can buy for 2, so you might want to spend 1 and gain an energy this turn.
That sounds good.
All right, so you gain an energy, so you gain total of 3 energy this turn, and you did 1 damage. So I will go to 47.
And then that will go discard there. I have 1, so what I do now, since this is a deck builder, is I'll shuffle up my discard.
That's right.
And then this will become my new pile.
So you shouldn't have 1. That should get shuffled because you drew 5 and 5, and your starting deck is 10.
Okay. Maybe I put...
And then, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3 crystals plus my shard reactor, which gives me 2. So I have a total of 5 this turn. So I'm going to buy this big Hamadius champion here, and he's going to hopefully come out soon. And then I did draw my Infinity Shard this turn, so I'm going to hit you for 2.
Bam, bam. So this has got kind of that the Ascension feel where, it's slow for the first couple of rounds.
Right.
Because you got to build up your deck.
Yeah, you're definitely building.
With 50 life and your shots in the beginning being 1 or 2, it kind of takes a while before you get to those bigger, harder hitting cards.
Yeah, you definitely, and it becomes a combo game right when you get into the unities and things like that. So you're going to get into a situation where you are comboing to maybe gain energy, but also I've seen 24 to 30 damage in one turn. And so it is kind of a self-timer, which I really like, and it ramps up, and then it's like you hit and it's over. I've only seen the Infinity Shard go off once for the Infinity Engine, but I've read a lot about players, our fans, doing that and striving to do that. It doesn't happen very often, believe it or not. I know some people, even myself, when I first saw the game, I was like, so I'll just go for that, and I get 30. I'll just gain one every turn, and in 30 turns I win. And unfortunately, I was long dead before that happened.
So. You're trying to stay alive during all of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So Shards of Infinity is available now.
It's out, and it's
out in people's hands.
It's actually sold out right now. We have people looking for it. We did have some copies at Gen Con, and unfortunately, this was the last one that I brought here, and it is now sold out officially at Gen Con. So you can definitely come by booth 709. That's where we're at, and talk to us about it, or just check your local game store. And if they don't have one, we do have a lot of them coming. They are coming. They will be here in a couple weeks. So please be patient.
But you guys do have a new announcement for Gen Con.
We do. So we are going to expand on this game already. It is already in the works. We already have it ready to go. We are going to do a SN release for this. So it will be shown before that, essentially, but the SN weekend will be the release, but you will be able to get it in your local game store by the end of October. And we are super excited because we are going to be, it's a smaller expansion that packs a lot of punch.
Okay.
And what it's going to do is it's going to make you fall in love with your chosen character card. And how that works is a lot of the cards here that we have that are now saying like Unity or Echo, the new cards are going to say, if you're the purple faction, like if you're the Wraith faction, it does this for you.
Okay.
If you're the Undergrowth faction, it does this for you.
Okay.
The other thing is that you're going to get essentially your hero is going to get a faction ally at the start of the game, and what happens is when you're going to get 2 faction allies, and when your hero reaches a certain energy, he's going to get to choose his sidekick essentially, and you will gain a second hero with an extra power, and you can do more things that will go into your deck and come out and assist him. So we're looking at also, I don't know if you're familiar with Ascension, but if you are, the expansion of Delirium that just came out has some cards that have like the dream ability where they kind of do certain things. The next expansion of Ascension, no spoilers, is going to have some cards that are double-sided. So our expansion may or may not have cards that once you build them up, they evolve into new cards. So we're really looking forward to that too.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So we've got some stuff in the fall for this line, and Justin Gary has been working diligently with Gary Arant, the other designer, to bring you more and more and more, and the fans are definitely hungry for it. So we thank you.
It was very cool. Rachel, thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime.
And showing me Shards of Infinity and talking to us a little bit about the expansion and what you guys have coming up for not only Shards of Infinity, but also for Ascension. I thought that was really cool. Guys, if you are here, make sure you swing by the booth to go and check them out.
We have 2 promo cards. There was one at Origins, one at Gen Con, new promo at Gen Con. So if you don't have the new promo for the Order Ally, you should come and get it.
Very, very cool. And if they are not here at Gen Con, where does everybody go to find out more?
So you can go to ascension.com or ultrapro.com, and all of our promo cards are always available online. So you can put in a request for one.
Awesome. Thank you so much again.
All right.
And guys, stay tuned for more live coverage coming to you from Gen Con 2018.